Good morning, everyone, and a happy Tu B'Shvat to all. I want to leave you with an idea, perhaps, that we can take with us from the great day of Tu B'Shvat, a message, a lesson from the trees. The Gemara speaks about the different brachas, the different blessings that we have to make on fruit trees, and it tries to distinguish in certain fruits that we have, whether it comes from a tree, which would require the bracha of Barei Pira'etz, or it comes from a bush, something that's low to the ground and requires an adama. And there are certain ones, bananas, papayas, different ones that are difficult for the Gemara to understand exactly what the bracha is going to be. However, the prevailing opinion and the main characteristic and the trait that personifies what a tree is the following. When a tree grows throughout the year, even though that in the wintertime, perhaps the leaves become bare, the branches become bare of the leaves, and the fruits do no longer grow, and the tree, the sap stops running through the trunk, and it looks as if the tree is dormant, almost as if it is dead. However, when the next season comes along, when it will be the spring, when it will be time for the tree to grow, and it rejuvenates itself, which means that the sap begins flowing once again, and the leaves begin to blossom, the flowers go into bloom, and the fruits eventually are given off. So then we know that that is a tree. We make a Barei Pira'etz, we make the blessing of a fruit on that. However, we have something that year to year ends up dying, and you have to replant and start all over again, that is not a tree. Adam, a man, is compared to an eitz, is compared to a tree. And perhaps this is one of the great reasons why. Every person has moments in their life, in their weeks, in their months, in their years, sometimes in their decades of existence, that they fall into the lull of dormancy, where they become a quiet person and they become someone that doesn't feel that they're producing and they're achieving as much as they could. They're surrounded by the brittle winters and the cold and the harshness of perhaps the challenges of life that are going on all around them. And it looks like that this person is not a producer. It looks like this person is not accomplishing. It looks like they're not achieving. They're just lying there, not doing much of anything. But the koyach, the power that exists inside each and every one of us, is the ability for a person to regenerate themselves, to renew themselves, to dig into the koychais, into the potential and the abilities that are inside of the person, and be able to bring them out into this world, into fruition. And a person, although he has moments of lapses of dormancy in his life, where he is going through the doldrums of life and not accomplishing and achieving what they could, a yid will never give up, because they know that if I'll just tap in, I'll tap into the sap that is coursing through my veins, which is my neshama. I'll tap into the Torah once again, which is HaKadosh Baruch Hu's mind peace. I'll tap into the ruchnias, the spiritual realms. I'll engage myself in mitzvahs in a way that I have not in a long time. I'll find an enthusiasm and a simcha and a joy and an excitement from what it means to be a frum yid. Then the person begins to renew and to rejuvenate, and they come back to life for another season. Their trunk becomes strong, their branches start elongating, and the leaves and eventually the fruits, the peiros of the person's hard work, it begins to be shared here in this world with the rest of Klal Yisrael. So a yid, a Jew, always knows that no matter where he has gone, no matter how far he has fallen, like we say, Sheva Yipol Tzadik V'Kom, a righteous man falls 7 times, V'Kom, he keeps getting up. It doesn't say that the Rasha, the wicked man, falls 7 times and keeps getting up, because a Rasha, a wicked man, if he falls again and again and again, he doesn't get up after a while. But a tzaddik, but a righteous person, he recognizes part of life is falling. Part of life is making mistakes. Part of life is stumbling and going astray in different directions in my life, in my path of Avodas Hashem. However, I know that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is rooting for me and He wants me to get up. And therefore, Sheva Yipol Tzadik, he could fall 7 times, which is really symbolic of many times that a person can fall in their lifetime. Nevertheless, they keep getting up again and again and again. They rejuvenate themselves with the koiches, with the powers that are inside of them. And that's perhaps why tree in Hebrew is eitz. Eitz is a language of eitzah, of counsel. A person needs to seek eitzah, counsel, deep inside themselves to be able to find the koiches, the energies and the abilities and the potential that's in there, and remind himself of what he could accomplish and perhaps what he has accomplished in the past and the great things that they have achieved. And I'm going to do it again, because just as the tree renews itself every single year, this eitz hasada, this tree of the field that I am, in the eyes of the Rebbeinu Shalom, and planting myself in Hashem's soil, then I too will rejuvenate and renew and come back to life. There's a very powerful story in Israel many years ago about a soldier, an Israeli soldier, not religious, who came home on weekend break. And he and his father did not have the greatest relationship in the world. And as he came home, his father started up with him, and they got into an argument, into a fight, ensued. And the soldier was still carrying his M16 machine gun with him. And the fight and the screaming escalated to such a point that the soldier, in a fit of rage, not thinking what he was doing, pulled out his M16, put his finger to the trigger, pointed it at his father, and he killed his father. Could imagine the destruction, the devastation for this young man, for the whole family. And of course the police came and they took him, and he was thrown behind bars for a very long time. While he was there in prison, he had a lot of time to think about his life, where he was going, where he was headed, what he did, this atrocity of killing one's father. And in the prison, there were different rabbanim that would come, and they would try to be mechazik, to give strength to the young men that were sitting behind bars, some of them for lifetime. And they would learn with them, and they would talk with them, and they would daven with them, and they would be makar of them. They would bring them close to Yadus, to Yiddishkeit. And this particular soldier got very close with one of the rabbanim that was coming on a regular basis, and slowly but surely over time he was becoming a Baal Tshuva. And it came time for the father's yortzeit. And this soldier, who now had tremendous regret when he realized what he had done, he wanted to make a minion and say Kaddish in the prison. So he went to the other religious inmates that were there, and he said, it's my father's yortzeit. Please help me make a minion. I need to say Kaddish. And they said to this man, are you kidding us? You killed your father in cold blood, and you want us to make a minion so that you could say Kaddish? No, we will not be part of such a minion. The man was broken. He went to his Rav. He told the Rebbe what happened, and the Rebbe said, let me go ask Rav Eliashiv. Rav Eliashiv was the Paisek Hador, the greatest halachic authority of the generation. And the Rav brought the question before him and asked him what to do, and Rav Eliashiv told him, if a person does teshuvah, HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgives him and accepts him. You go and tell these inmates, this man has done tshuva, and if HaKadosh Baruch Hu can accept him, they're obligated to accept him as well. And so sure enough, the Rav went back, and the minion was made, and the man was able to say Kaddish. This soldier, Baal Tshuva, became a very good inmate, the prisoner over there. He found favor in the eyes of the prison cell and the wardens and the like. And after a certain amount of time, he was released for good behavior. He had reconciled so much of his past and everything. He was released. When he got out of prison, of course, his goal was he wants to go learn in yeshiva. He's about tshuva. He has to go learn. He went to the yeshiva that was known very much for Balei Tshuva, and he has to sign an application. And one of the questions over there is, were you ever arrested? He says, yes. What were you arrested for? And he was an honest man. He wrote, for killing my father. When the Rosh Yeshiva saw these answers on the application, he said, you might be a very fine, wonderful fellow. You might be an emes about tshuva, but I cannot accept you into my shiva. You're a roitzeich, you're a murderer. I cannot bring you in. He said, I can't take the chance with the other boys that are there. I'm sorry, we can't do it. So this young man was very disappointed, and he went straight to the house of Rabbi Eliashiv, and he presented the shaila, the question to him, and he asked him what he's supposed to do. And Rabbi Eliashiv once again said, you tell the Rosh Hashiva that if you've done tshuva, HaKadosh Baruch Hu has forgiven you and HaKadosh Baruch Hu has accepted you. The Rosh Hashiva has to accept you into his yeshiva as well. And so the man went back to the Rosh Hashiva. He told him the decision of Eliashiv, and on the spot he was accepted in the yeshiva, and Baruch Hashem, he went on to learn and to grow and to build a beautiful Torah mishpacha. Adam Eitz Hasad, the man is a tree of the field. And a person has to recognize no matter how low they've come, no matter how distant they feel, no matter how little energy we have for Avodas Hashem, it's all in there. And now is the season, now is the time for a person to begin to rejuvenate and renew their spirit inside themselves. And then that's the chus in Yitz Hashem. As the trees are being judged on their birthday and they're going to be given the beautiful year of growth and success and to give off their delicious fruits, we should be zeicha ourselves, we should merit to continue to grow and to improve and to achieve and to succeed and to give off the beautiful fruits of our Avodas Hashem in this world as well. Have a wonderful day and a very happy and a meaningful Tu B'Shvat. All the best.